Who is going to be Cooper Flagg's biggest rival in the NBA? If this Mavs season goes bad, who takes the fall first? I'm going to answer these questions and a lot more on today's Locked On Mavs.
Stop it! Let's go! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
You are locked on the Dallas Mavericks. I'm one of your co-hosts, Isaac Harris, covering the Mavs for the last 10 seasons alongside my good friend Nick Angstead every single day throughout the week, sometimes over the weekends. This podcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. We're back. Today I did a Q&A on our Insider program. This is our Subtext Insider program in which a lot of you guys are sub to that each month, and you can send us questions and all the latest news, or if there's any breaking news or any of this stuff. This is what Nick and I, we go there first before Twitter or anything else online. So if you're interested in that, you can find that in the QR code or in the description of the podcast. You can sub through there. But once a week, we try to do a Q&A, try to throw out some, throw out the net and say, hey, whatever questions you have, submit it through there. Text back a question. I kind of gather up all the questions. And obviously, we can't get through all of the questions on the show today, but I'm going to try to get through a majority of them. That's why I want to do a little quick intro here and just get going, because there's so many questions that came through. I love doing these type of shows. And then on tomorrow's episode, we're going to start talking about the results from the survey we just finished. A couple thousand of you guys filled that out. So I'm excited to get talking about that. Nick is on vacation this week, and super excited for him. Much deserved break. And we'll be hearing from him again soon. I'm jealous of all this vacation content and stuff. All right, let's get to some of your questions that you submitted through our Text Insider program. And this first one I really like, and I honestly haven't thought about it until this question came through. Very simple question. Who's going to be Cooper Flagg's biggest rival in the NBA? Like, who would you say, and is a rival established in the rookie season? Probably not, right? I feel like rivalries start, or they kind of form come like playoffs. Luka's a big part of Mavs history, so we're always going to bring up Luka every now and then, just like we brought up Dirk. You think about like Luka's biggest rivalries, or even just saying like players. You say the Clippers, but like Kawhi or some of those Clippers guys, or Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks at times, different guys. And then it's like, well, who are you considering a rivalry? Is it a lesser? Is like a Lou Dort a rivalry, even though he's not as good of a player? Does it have to be someone as equal, like playing field there? So however you want to define it, you could take a bunch of different directions. So like I look at somebody like Tari Eason in Houston, and it's like, all right, could we get some spats between Cooper Flagg and Tari Eason over the next couple seasons? Yeah, I think we could. Like, I think it's that's going to be a lot of fun. I think Eason's going to kind of take on that Dylan Brooks role a lot of times, and along with Amen Thompson and Jabari Smith Jr., Jabari Parker, shout out. I still have that Slam magazine with Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins in high school on it. And it's like the future of the NBA. Yeah, I should probably throw that away now. But Tari Eason's not the player that Cooper Flagg is, right? So it's like, is he a rivalry? And I'm trying not to teams, because I think you could say Houston or even like a San Antonio on the come up and all of that. Like I want to say somebody like a Dylan Harper, same draft class, pick 1 and 2. They seem like they're buds and everything, but could there be some type of competitive rivalry that happens maybe down the road, like 5, 6, 7 years, and you got Cooper and some younger Mavs at that time. You have the Spurs, and maybe you get some good playoff series, and it's Harper and Wemby and these young guys. Is it something like that? I don't know. I went ahead and threw out there Wemby. Like, could Wemby and Cooper Flagg be one of the next like fun rivalries that for years you had Dirk versus TD versus Duncan, Spurs, Mavs. And I think if you've been a Mavs fan for a long time, then you I grew up with the Spurs Mavs rivalry and it was so much fun. It's, Texas and all the things. You get playoff matchups and, and just all-time greats playing this similar type of position. So could we get like the new form of that in Wemby versus Cooper Flagg? Is Cooper Flagg? How's that going to be? And I think that could be a lot of fun for the league. Ace Bailey, is he going to be good enough? Same draft class and all of that. Anthony Edwards, I wrote down his name. Like if they keep on having successful seasons in Minnesota and making deep playoff runs, do we get some playoff series? Them two chirping at each other and two young, good players in the league. I feel like you just got to throw Luka's name out there. Like if Cooper Flagg, let's say a couple years from now, let's say 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Cooper's offense is really good and he's a go-to type of guy for Dallas. Could we have, there's always going to be that relationship with the Mavericks organization with Luka, but could there be some type of Cooper-Luka rivalry that happens that would just, break the brains for a lot of Mavs fans? But the competitor that Luka is, like I could totally see their first matchup, like Luka trying to do step back and different things on Cooper and him making a few shots and talking the trash and trying to get in Cooper. And then, I could totally see Cooper being like, I'm not going to back down from this guy. I'm the new guy in Dallas. And what a conundrum for Mavs fans. How much fun would that be if they're chirping each other and there's like a rivalry that brews between those two guys? It'd be a lot of fun. So I think Luka's a solid answer. I think Wemby would be one that I'm like, could Cooper versus Wemby be the next great like individual rivalry, not just in Texas, but the NBA? Let's do another question. Another question submitted in. Says, who takes the fall first? Coaching staff like Kidd or the upper management like Nico if the season is a bust? Yeah, if the season goes south, I think it's Jason Kidd. I mean, I think we saw some stuff this offseason where I don't care whatever reports you want to look at and stuff. I'm expecting a Kidd extension at some point. There was a lot of fire to the Kidd and New York situation. That wasn't just smoke. There was stuff there. So, was that initiated by Jason Kidd? Was it? I don't know. But I think if somebody takes the fall, if the season goes really bad, I think it's Jason Kidd. I don't think it's Nico Harrison right now. This person also asked, is this the team? Wow, what a question here. Basically, they're asking, is this the best Mavericks team on paper? I mean, you got to factor in health, right? Like, I mean, considering the injuries and stuff, like on paper, fully healthy, which is just kind of impossible to do right now. It's a really good Mavs team. I would say Luka's, better than all of them as far as individual players. So last, 2 years ago was kind of a pretty special team that made it to the finals and stuff. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I think, yes, on paper, and you said everybody on this roster on the paper in front of me, if you printed off a piece of paper with the roster and you said, I'm guaranteeing you a fully healthy season of all of these guys. Yes, I think it'd be one of the best Mavericks teams that you've seen in a long time. But health is the biggie with that, obviously. Let's take a quick break. And then I got so many other questions I want to get in at, like Team USA stuff, Brandon Williams stuff, and what this rotation could be looking like to start the season. This podcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's a 401k and properties or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire finance life together in one clean, easy to use interface on your laptop or your phone. I don't know about you. When I look at finance stuff, I have like a million tabs open on my phone. I'm like, all right, here's this account. Here's this. Well, here's this. Here's this. And I'm like, I'm losing track of tabs and I'm all the stuff. This is where Monarch Money comes into play. It's built for people with busy lives. Yes, that's life right now. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser or half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONNBA.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Yeah, we're here. It's Locked On Mavs. It's a Wednesday. I don't know what time you listen to this because I don't know what time zone you're on, but we're having some fun with it. Thanks for filling out the survey over the past week or so. We're going to start talking about those results starting on tomorrow's show. But right now I'm answering our Locked On Mavs Insider Text Program questions. I did a Q&A today where so many of you guys submitted questions, and I'm getting to as many as possible. And some of you are like, hey, you suck at getting to all these questions because you've only done 2 questions so far. Next one. If you could choose any point guard in the league to pair with Cooper, who would it be? And this person says, I'm assuming you would like Cade. Yes, I would love Cade Cunningham and Cooper Flagg. I think that would be a lot of fun. I also want to say right off the top, Kyrie would be in the like top 5 of my choices with that. If you're asking like pairing for the future, like moving forward, then obviously you'd take a younger point guard and you wouldn't take Kyrie. But if you're saying like right now, if Kyrie is fully healthy, I think he's like right near the top because I would want a really good scoring point guard, a guard that can initiate, can create, can get into the paint, can finish at the rim, that is a really good shooter, and that has some playing experience that can play off Cooper and all that stuff. And Kyrie fits all of those things. But let's just say Kyrie's off the table. Other options out there. For me, I wrote down 3 names. I think Steph's in the same category type of Kyrie, of like an older guard, but all of that stuff applies. You get all the experience in the rings and stuff too, but just play. I mean, can you imagine Steph like playing off, Cooper, or like just a Cooper Steph pick and roll? That would be so much fun. I would say an underrated one would be Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson, this version of Brunson in New York with Cooper Flagg would be a lot of fun. And some of the minuses of Jalen's game, I think Cooper would offset a lot. This question comes in. This might need a whole episode. Whoa. Well, you're not going to get a whole episode. I'm sorry. Can we imagine what the next few years will look like with Team USA and the Mavs? Like which World Cup and Olympics we can expect to see Lively, Flagg, and others in? Yeah, this will be the first time in a gosh, I don't know how long that, Mavs fans are going to be watching the Olympics moving forward in Team USA with most likely Cooper Flagg being on this team. I mean, he wasn't even in the NBA yet, and he was invited to Team USA mini camp. So to where he's going against LeBron and Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant and all those guys as a 17-year-old. And you can see all the clips of those guys talking about the 17-year-old Cooper Flagg. So I don't think that's going to be the last time he's back on that. So that'll be a lot of fun. I think we can expect Cooper Flagg on that team. It's the Dereck Lively part. They desperately do need some young centers moving forward. And man, if Lively's healthy, he would be great to have in that mix. So it would be a lot of fun. I mean, it's hard to say here and guess like, oh, which Olympics could we see these guys at and all of that. So I'm not going to do that, but I think you do have a path for Cooper Flagg especially, but I think there's a good path for Dereck Lively too. Man, that'd just be so much fun for Mavs fans to be able to see something like that. Another question says Bobby Carolla, DLLS, was on the show on Monday. Bobby said he was high on B-Will, Brandon Williams, when he was on the show. What pathway is there for him to get minutes over, say, Exum? I mean, the pathway is pretty clear for Brandon Williams. He's the only guard that has the speed and the creation ability to get into the paint. Like Dante Exum just doesn't have that. He's more of a table setting type of point guard, slower, bigger, better defender, longer than Brandon Williams. But Brandon Williams is the guy that's going to like keep the pace going, could get out and run in transition. Yeah, he just has that. Besides Kyrie, like he's one of the only guys out there that can really get into the paint. That's why Bobby's really high on him, and the Mavs need him to do that. So I think that's the path, especially when they're struggling on offense. I've talked about that Orlando team multiple times. Of hey, are we going to have moments this season to where we look at them kind of like Orlando, of saying, man, you're really good defensively, but this is kind of difficult to watch on offense at times, and I'll be curious to see if we ever feel like that. I don't think it will be as bad, but I think we could have moments like that. And that's the path for Brandon Williams playing over him. Another question about this person says, what are the odds AD slims down this offseason since he knows he's playing power forward? Do you think that would be the best for his playing style? I do. I've been in this camp for a while. Even when he was in LA, I'm like, I never fully understood the full commitment of, hey, I want to keep bulking up and putting on a lot of weight, like good weight. I mean, he's getting stronger and everything. It felt like, I was like, man, I kind of want to go the opposite route of like, not saying that he was Tim Duncan when Tim Duncan was later on in his career and stuff, like Tim started losing all the weight and got super skinny as his career went on. Dirk always stayed in really good shape. I'm not trying to say that Davis is not in good shape, but he has like, in the past, I don't know what he's done this offseason. In the past, he's added weight and gotten bulkier and bulkier. So yeah, I think I'm not going to know the right answer to this, but in my mind, I'm like, it would be cool if he got a little slimmer, faster and stuff like some of those early New Orleans days. But who am I? I'm just a podcaster. Let's do another question here. What do you think the rotation looks like to start the year? Who gets minutes cut the most? Well, I think Klay starts, so I think you're going to get that D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Dereck Lively. I think when you look at that second unit, you're looking at PJ Washington, you're looking at Daniel Gafford. And then, so that's at 7 right there. So who's going to be 8 and 9? Yeah, I think it's tough at that point. Is it going to be Brandon Williams? Is it Exum? I think Max Christie's going to be in there. Naji Marshall. Is Naji Marshall the lock at the 8th spot there in the rotation? Let's just say it is Naji. So it's like, all right, PJ, Naji, Gafford, you need some backcourt stuff coming off the bench. Let's say Max Christie is the 9th spot. So you still haven't said Brandon Williams, Exum, or Caleb Martin. That's probably something I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but I think that's it. I'm looking at Caleb Martin of being a guy that I think could get some minutes cut early on. And then one of like Exum and Brandon Williams. I think the tricky thing is like, do you have to play Brandon Williams or Exum minutes more than like Max Christie? Can Max Christie show enough ball handling to where he's playing over Dante Exum, to where if Exum is playing over Christie, probably a little concerned about Christie's play, his role, but I think Caleb Martin is the odd man out. Yeah, but I'm not confident in it. There's a lot of depth on the wing, but that's my guess. Is Dante Exum and Caleb Martin are the odd men out in the rotation, besides Dwight Powell. Even though, shout out Bleacher Report, Mount Rushmore, Dwight Powell. Another question here says, I've been having this debate with, this is a long question. I might just sum it up here. I've been having this debate with friends, and I've arrived at the conclusion that Mavs fans will ultimately love Cooper more than Luka. It doesn't mean we won't always love the moments Luka brought us. It just means Cooper will ultimately rank above Luka eventually with Mavs fans. Oh, and then a question later on is like, what would have to happen? What career accomplishments would have to happen for Cooper to be loved more than by the majority of Mavs fans? A lot. I mean, right? It's more than just the accolades. It's more than the first team All NBAs and the stuff that Luka accomplished early in his career. It's the moments, right? It's the buzzer beater and the bubble against the Clippers. It's that finals run. It's that Western Conference Finals run. It's the Game 7 and beating Phoenix. Like Luka was here 7 years, but there are so many big playoff moments to where he had big time numbers and big time moments. The cross with Gobert in Minnesota, and so there's just so many of those moments in 7 years in Dallas that it's like, all right, to love him, like Cooper's going to have the accomplishments, right? He's going to have all the accolades and everything. I think it's going to be perfectly fine him gaining over Mavs fans' love with his play, because I think you're going to have the highlights on defense. I think fans are going to love his hustle, especially, I mean, that's like a gold mine for the older NBA fans. At games, sees the ticket holders and everything. He's like, this dude's busting his butt. He's diving on the floor and he's trying on defense and all stuff. Like, fans are going to love him with that. So I think he's going to, there's no problem, like, fans loving him. They're going to love him. They are, like, fans already love him. To reach that Luka level of love, he's just going to have to win. As I know it sounds like dumb or cliche. He's going to have to win basketball games, get into the playoffs, have some big moments, make some good memories. Obviously, if you win a ring, you surpass that. But yeah, you got to have the success and you got to have those big moments come the playoffs. Let's take one more break and then we'll come back and I'm going to answer a lot more questions right after this.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Alrighty, I'm answering questions through our Locked On Mavs Insider program that so many of you guys submitted today through text, and I'm keeping on going here with these questions. Another question submitted said, which vet will most likely take Flagg under their wing as their rook? This one says, hey, you can't pick Lively because he's not considered a vet yet. I mean, it's Kyrie Irving, right? Like, I feel like Kyrie's going to be the guy. He's already the leader of the team. I think he takes Cooper under his wing. Went to Duke, all the different stuff. Cooper had to watch him growing up and stuff too, have these big moments, win a ring. And so, I feel like Kyrie's the easy answer. I think outside of that, I don't know, PJ Washington, Naji. I feel like Max is still a little too young. Some of the other guys, a little too young. Is it Anthony Davis? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not as familiar yet with Anthony Davis and like the leadership aspect. We hasn't been in Dallas long enough for me to ask around or like see it or anything like that. So my answer is Kyrie. As boring as that could be. This person says, hey guys, I'm Joe. What's up, Joe? I wonder who's going to be more efficient. Would it be Anthony Davis and Dereck Lively, or Daniel Gafford and Anthony Davis, or even Cooper and Anthony Davis? I think this is a great question, Joe, and it's something I'm going to monitor at the start of the season. What's the two-man combo up front that is the most efficient? And basically, like, who with Anthony Davis, Cooper, Gafford, or Lively? I selfishly just like go back to Cooper and AD, and it's like, I want to see that front court together, especially close games with PJ. The one I'm the least confident in is Anthony Davis and Gafford, just because at this Anthony Davis size, the bulkier, more muscle Anthony Davis. Like who's going to guard on the perimeter? Are you going to ask Anthony Davis to guard on the perimeter and just all the stuff, recovering and closing out and all that stuff? So it's probably going to be him and Lively. Lively can close out better than Gafford. He could switch off better than Gafford on the perimeter. And him and AD together just seemed like a lot of fun. I would say my excitement is Anthony Davis and Cooper. I think we're going to get a lot of Anthony Davis and Lively, and I think that's going to be good. And I would say the least amount and the least excited for me is AD and Gafford. Some random questions that are not exactly X's and O's or on the court during the game. It says, who's your favorite player to interact with off camera that you've interviewed? Off camera, this is Dorian Finney-Smith. Love Dodo. I used to, we've talked about him many times that I was early on covering the Mavs, kind of a rookie at doing this media thing. And he was coming in as a rookie into training camp for the Mavs. So got to know him. We would talk about shoes all the time. After games would come in, he would look what shoes I had on. Cause I love shoes. I think I was working for Nike and stuff back then too. So I was loving shoes. He had different shoes. We'd talk about which shoes, who had what shoes, and life, family, his kids, and just all the stuff. So, he's my answer for that. I've talked about Kyrie a lot. I think he's one of my favorite players to ever cover, one of my favorite Mavs in a long time. Grant asks if I ever got a Stars jersey, because I asked that a while back. I have not. They're really expensive. I got really excited about it, and then I was like, I went and I saw the prices at Shields. Which Shields, I just went to the first time in like a few weeks ago. It's kind of a cool place. Anybody have a Shields like discount or like a cool hookup, then hit me up because I'd like to get a Stars jersey. Yeah, I'm going to get one at some point. I'm excited. Yeah, I have some friends that are really big Stars fans, so they're trying to get me a lot. Are really big into it. Love is Blind UK thoughts. Yes, I am watching that right now. I don't really have a favorite. This is kind of weird. I don't have a favorite couple with it, so sorry. But we are watching and it is entertaining. Last question here says, bear with me. If you had the opportunity to be on the coaching staff of a top 25 high school program this year with 2, maybe 3 future NBA players on the roster, but taking that coaching position means that you would have to quit your well-paying with great long-term benefits, normal job, and probably be dead broke for a few years. What would you choose if you were me? I'm 24 and have dreams of coaching basketball at a high level, but this corporate job could set me up very well in the future. Help! ! You better take that coaching job. If I will always, you get one shot at some of these things. What will you regret later on? Yeah, you could have the more financial stability and everything. You could get that house. You could be sitting on that back porch. But you know what you're going to be doing? You're going to be sitting on that back porch. You're going to be smoking a cigar, or you're going to be just looking out at your backyard with fresh green grass and everything. And you're going to be thinking every day about, what if I took that coaching job? Because I love coaching. I'm passionate about coaching. Man, you're seeing these NBA players in the league a few years from now. You're like, I could have coached those guys. That's your answer right there. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not loving it and you're not passionate about it, then what are we really doing? And I think you would love, I think it's worth to be broke for a few years to be able to do a passion and get up and be excited to go do something that you love to do. And so I think that's your answer. Take the coaching job. You better do it. That's what you're passionate about. That's another episode of Locked On Mavs. We'll be back tomorrow talking more and more about the NBA or about the Mavs survey that we just finished. Bam. Don't have any music right here. Peace out. Yeah.